Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome. Glad you're here. Let's go ahead and get started, you guys. It is 1 minute after 10, so let's go ahead and get started for all of you that are here on time. I appreciate it. This is Dave Redabaugh. Hopefully you guys recognize the voice. The first thing that I would like to do is make sure everybody's engaged with the chat. So I wanted to ask you, I wanted to make sure that you're seeing what I need you to be seeing. So if everybody could just weigh in real quickly and make sure that they let me know that what they see is the Are You LinkedIn for 2020? So if you guys could weigh in on that really quickly, I would appreciate it. There we go. Good. Awesome. Good. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. So we are going to be jumping into this. And I guess the first thing that I would like to ask you guys, if you could go ahead and again, weigh in on the chat box is, first question is, do you have a profile on LinkedIn? Number one. Now, in addition to that, guys, also I would like to ask you, how much time do you spend on it? Not enough. Good. Yeah, everyone, there we go. That's it. Yes, I have a profile. Good. Rarely, once a week. Okay, good. Denise, way to go. Nice job. So LinkedIn really is a powerful place for real estate agents, you guys. And that's the one thing that I know sometimes is one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of the agents that I work with is that sometimes they're missing out on this opportunity. So let's go ahead and get into some of the reasons why. But first, let me go ahead and define what our agenda is going to be today. So we're going to talk about, like I said, our first thing we're going to get into is why LinkedIn for real estate marketing. Up, we're getting some background in there, folks. I don't know who's. Where is that? There we go. Make sure everybody's muted. There we go. Thank you very much. Sorry, guys. Just to keep the background noise down to a minimum. So here's what we're going to talk about again is why LinkedIn for real estate marketing, why it is such an important platform for real estate agents to make sure that they are involved with and that they're active on, okay? The second thing is we're going to talk about how to optimize your LinkedIn page. What are the things that you want to make sure that you've done with your LinkedIn page to take advantages of the tools that are available on this very powerful social media site? The next thing we're going to talk about then is posting regularly and with diversity, making sure that you're adding things that are changing it up, that you're being unique, that you're engaging with people and you're not just putting things like your new listings up, okay, for instance. And we will talk about that. The other thing is making sure that you have a call to action on every single time that you post, okay? And we're going to get into the reasons why with that, you guys, but it's you know, again, it's a very important feature that sometimes you don't necessarily use in Facebook or Instagram or some of the other social media sites where you're spending time. But because of the unique part of what LinkedIn is, who the audience is that you're reaching in that particular space, you guys, that's what makes it such a powerful place for things like a call to action. Okay. The other thing we're going to talk about is just some of the groups that you may want to consider being part of. Okay, so we're going to focus on that. And we're also going to look at investigate some of the things that are important about building a LinkedIn business page, which most of you probably have your personal page. You know, it's your personal profile that you have up, but there's also a place where you can build out a business page. It's something that you should, if you're going to have both of them, you probably want to be most active on your personal page, but there are some features to the business page that can make it a pretty powerful marketing tool. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this presentation, folks. So first of all, let's talk about why LinkedIn for real estate agents. First off, you guys, this really is, honestly, when you think about it, the perfect social profile for realtors to work with. In other words, consider the audience of LinkedIn. This is where we go as professionals. This is where we go to talk about what we do professionally, what we do with our employment, that's the focus of this whole thing. So it tends to be a place where people don't necessarily spend as much time. That's, it's a good place for being social, but it's not the same kind of social environment as Facebook is. Facebook's like hanging out at a bar. This is more like hanging out at a convention, or a conference of some sort, or at a seminar. Okay, that's really more what, if you want to look at a good way to kind of approach the audience that you're dealing with. So here's a couple of facts about those people that are on LinkedIn. Okay, first of all, the majority, 77%, are age 30 and older. Okay, that's a good thing. Nearly half earn more than $75,000 per year. Okay. Half of LinkedIn's users are college graduates. That's some good statistics. 90% of them make the household decisions. Now, just real quickly, folks, you don't necessarily have to weigh in on this because it's kind of a rhetorical question, quite honestly. But if you look at the definition of that profile of who the people are that are on LinkedIn, who are attracted to being on that particular social site, and this kind of demographic makeup that we just described, isn't that a pretty ideal candidate for real estate agents to be approaching? Whether it's buying a house or selling a house. It really is. It's, like I said, it's kind of an obvious question. You can weigh in if you like, but I think most of you would probably say, hey, man, that's really who I'm trying to attract. People that are 30 and older, people that earn over $75,000 a year, people that are likely college graduates because they're going to be a little bit more focused and possibly a little bit more educated when it comes to how to do what real estate is all about, and to how to go through that process, and the fact that those are the ones that are making the household decisions most often. Okay, so that is the reasons why you really want to be on LinkedIn. Okay, and there's a couple others that we're going to get into. The first thing we're going to get into, though, sorry guys, I jumped right past that. Let's go ahead and get into optimizing your LinkedIn page. Okay. Oh, you know what? I did want to mention something real quickly back here. The other thing about this, you guys, that is important is that, you know what, I think we are going to get into this later. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and give you the statistic here in a second. But here's the thing, you guys, is that optimizing your LinkedIn page is very important. Actually, let me go ahead and share the statistic with you. I realize that I don't have it on the slides coming up. The statistic that I wanted to share with you, going back to this why LinkedIn, and this is something that if you consider the fact that LinkedIn, they say that the number of contacts to the number of, or the number of connections that people have to the number of people who actually will end up being a good warm lead is 2.74%. So 2.74% of the connections that are out there that are available that you have are likely going to turn into a lead of some sort. You're going, wow, big deal. Okay, well, let's do a real quick comparison. In Facebook, that is 0.77%. On Twitter, that's 0.66%. And it's even lower on Instagram. They didn't have a number for that one. But the bottom line is, you guys, it is the place for generating leads. In fact, that's the statistic, and I should have put this on the slide, and I apologize I didn't, is that LinkedIn, as far as a place for lead generation, is 277% more powerful as a lead generation social site than any of the other ones that are out there. Okay, so now that I've mentioned that, I know that's a very powerful statistic, and I'm sure you'd love to have it. But if you haven't written it down, then go ahead and get it down. But it's a place for lead generation, and that's the key part. So let's go ahead and let's talk about your LinkedIn page. Okay, how to optimize it. We'll take a look at mine here in a second, you guys. Probably not in a second. We're going to do this a little bit later on. But what I wanted to talk about is just some of the key parts about how to optimize your page. Okay. First of all, your headline. That is the part immediately after your name that shows up at the very top. Okay. Here's a couple reasons why you want to make sure that you've taken time to really take a look at that. And you don't have much space. it's limited in characters, and it's limited in characters based on the fact that you want it to be relatively limited on characters. But here's the thing: is it's that part right behind your name that defines who you are and what you do. Now, if you just have real estate agent, that's not telling them enough. Okay, that really isn't. Here's the thing: if you consider this, that first of all, it follows you around the network. Whenever they go and they find Dave Redebaugh, basically what they're seeing is the profile that shows up behind me, that he's an internet marketing strategist. That's what it says behind my name, and that follows me around the network. Okay, so the next part then is it says, and this is a way to write your headline. You really want to answer two questions. Keep it simple, keep it short, but make it something that really is impactful, and that is, who do you help, and how do you help them? Okay, that really is it, guys. It's pretty well defined that way, and that's the best way to consider what it is that you're going to put behind your name. Okay, so the next thing is to consider your headshot. Here's a couple things that I would tell you. There are people that have gone to the point where they've done what they call, it kind of gives an image of kind of their background and maybe their story, like they'll have a picture of them and their spouse or them and their pet or something like that. Those are okay to do, but you want to be really careful about, and I would ask other people, if you're going to use that kind of a headshot, to use that with some advice. Show it to several people, make sure they all think it makes sense to have it on LinkedIn. My feeling is that the best way to get it done, though, is to get it, first of all, have it professionally done. The other thing that's important about this, you guys, is to focus as much on your face as possible. Okay, that's really the main focus of what the headshot should be. If you have a picture of you, standing in front of a house that you've just got newly listed, nobody's going to know who you are, because that picture, once you put it on the LinkedIn profile on a desktop, it's pretty small. You put it inside a phone, nobody's going to know who you are. They're not going to have any clue who they're looking at. So make sure it's a headshot and as much of your face again as possible. This is not like a whole, bust up type of situation. This is focusing on your face. All right. So what that means then is you want to make sure that your smile is comfortable. In fact, the best way to get it, honestly, is if you can get a professional that will do this for you and make sure that what you're asking them to do is to get you at the beginning of a laugh. All right. It's a good way to do it, you guys. It really is. Now, one thing that I would also suggest with your headshot, some people can do really well with selfies, but my suggestion, my recommendation is don't do a selfie. Really, it's worth spending a little bit of money to go ahead and get this done, and then you can use it everywhere else that you need to. You guys, this is the time to go ahead and invest a little bit in yourself. But again, here's a couple things. Again, professionally done, comfortable smile, beginning of a laugh is the best way to get that. The other thing is to consider making sure that it's up to date. I've seen pictures on LinkedIn, for instance, that look like glamour photographs, and you found out that it was a glamour photograph that agent had done when 25 years ago. So it looks nothing like who they are today. Be proud of who you are today. It's awesome. You're all beautiful people. You are a creation of God. Okay, so keep it up to date. Every 6 years is probably appropriate, you guys. Is a good way to make sure that you're keeping it up to date. That's kind of a good rule of thumb. Okay, so the next thing is your contact information. For this, I'm going to take a quick look over, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and jump over real quickly to mine. I'm going to do a new share, and I'm going to go over to here. All right. Now, I'm going to have to move a couple things around, folks. Now, let me make sure that you guys are seeing what I want you to. Are you looking at my LinkedIn profile? If I could have everybody just kind of give me a quick yes, I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, good. So here's what I'm talking about, you guys, is on here. This is my profile. Okay. And we can go ahead and talk about a couple other things on here while we're here. So you can see the profile picture that I use. It's a comfortable smile. It's not necessarily a laugh, but it's kind of in that direction. This portion right here is what I'm talking about when I said the headline. That's the headline right there. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what I mean by the contact info, though, okay? There's some of you that maybe haven't even seen this or updated this in a while. So, and I know that for real estate agents, there's some of you that tend to move from place to place to place. Not that that's a bad thing. You're doing it all for all the right reasons, I'm sure. But here's the thing, is that you want to make sure that your contact information is following you and that it is up to date. So here's what it does, is it just shows you, it's just real simple, what your LinkedIn profile is. That is a unique URL that is specific to LinkedIn. We're going to talk about that here in a second. The other thing is if you have a company website, make sure there's a link there. I've got my mobile number up there. I've got the email address that I use to log into LinkedIn. I have a Twitter account that's associated with it. But that's all your contact information, folks. So you want to make sure that it is up to date, that it actually has the information on there so that it's accurate. Okay, that's really the bottom line. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of other things here real quickly then that are part of this profile. The other thing that I would suggest to you is the link, this banner that they have here, okay? Take advantage of that space. This is marketing space that a lot of times people have not really done. They've just gone with whatever. And, LinkedIn will give you something that looks kind of nice. It's LinkedIn colors and it looks kind of attractive. But you know what? If it's not really helping with branding, then I'd say, take advantage of the branding that you can do in that place. That's really what I'm talking about here. So, you can see what I've got up here. Internet marketing to help you reach your business goals. Pretty simple. Focuses in, with the picture in the background that shows social media and websites and all that kind of good stuff. So you can tell that it's internet marketing. But the bottom line is, folks, is that, and in fact, those of you that I know probably have listened to a lot of the other sessions that I've done are very familiar with Canva, and hopefully a lot of you are on Canva and using it as a powerful tool. Excuse me. One of the things you need to recognize about Canva is you can go into Canva and you can actually look at or grab the space that's called a LinkedIn banner, okay? So you can actually create that social media platform, or that social media size is what the main thing that we're talking about here. So make sure you have a good picture, okay? Use the image for branding, okay? And for a lot of you, probably my suggestion would be, as far as the image itself, for a real estate agent, I would pick something that is a good local image, especially if you have niche areas, niche types of homes that you work with, or niche neighborhoods that you work in, those types of situations. Is use those images to kind of define who you are. And then using a tool like Canva, you can then put things like your logo on there. You can put things like I've got in here, where I put some text that defines a little bit more about who it is and what I do, okay? So those are some of the things that you want to make sure that you're doing with your LinkedIn banner, okay? The other, again, it's a branding tool. It's a very powerful branding tool. The other thing then, and let's go back to this real quickly. I clicked on the contact information again. Part of your profile is this right here, okay? It's a linkedin.com/in/your name. So that is a unique URL that goes directly to your LinkedIn profile, okay? So you can use this as a link from your website. You can use it as a link when you're going into, like if you've got a post on Facebook, or you've got posts in other places, any place that's digital, you probably want to use this as a place to direct people towards the LinkedIn profile. One other thing before I move off of this, you guys, that I did want to mention that I think is important to recognize about this. And a lot of you who, again, have listened to the presentations that I've given, understand the importance of your LinkedIn profile. So we're going to go over to that part of this real quickly again, you guys. We're going to make a switch here. Sorry about the new share, but just play with me. All right. And here's the other things that you want to consider when you're looking at your profile, and some of the other things to make sure that your page is being optimized. First of all, your connections, okay? You want to make sure that you've got 500 plus connections, okay? But this follows you around, okay? The other thing then You know what? I apologize. There's some of this stuff in here. I didn't get into the details on these. So you've got some information that is not exactly right on it. But the summary, I'm going to just go ahead and talk about these things, you guys. In fact, it's better to show you than just talk about them. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and switch to share again. Sorry about that. All right. So here's what we're talking about. First of all, your connections. You can see I have 500 plus connections. Okay. Actually, on mine, I've got it's about 3,400. But anyway, the bottom line is you want to make sure you've got 500 plus because that's what shows up on your profile. Once you get to when you're at 499, you're not there yet. You got 501. You look like you could have tens of thousands. It doesn't make any difference, you know, but the bottom line is you want to make sure that you've got connections. And we're going to talk about the kinds of connections that you want to make sure that you're focusing your attention on, not just to get a big number, but really more important than that, folks, is to make sure that you've got connections that are worthwhile. So I would make sure that you've taken some time to take a look at your database of people that you are working with, following, that you've got into your sales funnel, if you will, and make sure that you're connected with them on LinkedIn. You would be amazed at the way that you connect with other people that they're connected with as well. Okay. So the other thing then is the summary. Okay. And that's this about part right here. Some people I've noticed haven't done anything with that, but what you want to do with this, you guys, is to take a look at the fact that this is 2,000 characters. Okay, so that's the limitation on your summary. It's 2,000 characters, but you want to focus in on, and if you want a good template, the one that I have on mine is good. So let's go ahead and connect on LinkedIn if we haven't already. But I'd go ahead and take a look at this, and it's a good way to define it. What I do, who I work with, why it works, what makes me different, what others say, so you can have a place to put in a testimonial or two, and how it works. Okay, how working with me works, how that all is all set up. And then I have my contact information right there in my profile. Okay, so that is the next part, is the summary. The other thing then, when you're optimizing this, is to consider down here this part where it is your experience. Okay, here's the problem, guys, is that when LinkedIn first got created, this was all kind of about getting jobs. That was what the whole focus of this was really focused on. So it was what people did, and what a lot of people still have on their LinkedIn profile, reads like a resume. This should not read like a resume. This is a really, really powerful place to market you, who you are, and what makes you different. So in other words, what I have up here, you guys, as you can see here, it shows that I'm a speaker and a trainer. I've been doing that for 6 years and 4 months. That's the length of time that I've been at Your Biz Social, which is my business. Okay. So the next part is it also has a Chief Solutions Officer. So I've got my title, what I use is my title for the business that I have. The bottom line is, you guys, is as real estate agents, you can plug in those things that separate how you do business. So in other words, your profession or your experience as a real estate agent is going to include things like, number one would be an area where you can focus in on how you work with buyers. And number two would be how you work with, say, for instance, investors, how you work with things like staging, how you work in areas like if someone does military relocation. So in other words, these are all of those niches that you guys have within your the way that you conduct business on a daily basis. Each one of those can be a separate part on this on your experience. Okay, and that's really what it is. Again, don't think resume, think marketing, because this is a very, very powerful place to do that. Okay, then the other place is there's also a place for your honors and your recommendations and things like that, your licenses and certificates, those types of things. Here's the one thing that I would suggest on here, you guys. The one thing you want to stay away from. A lot of you have some really good credentials that you can use. Stay away from the alphabet soup. Most of us don't have any clue what those things are, those different qualifications that you have, those certifications that you've earned, and probably spent a good amount of time and effort and sometimes money to get those certifications. But don't use the alphabet soup, you guys. Nobody knows what that stuff means. So if you are a CSR, that don't put CSR, put certified, you know, real estate professional, whatever. Oh, whatever you guys know what that is. But that's the point, is don't put the definition, put the whole description of what that is. Because as a consumer, I have no clue. Okay. Like I just proved. So, but the bottom line is, you guys, is that most of your consumers have no clue what those things stand for. So you need to tell them, and tell them the significance of it, why it's important. Okay. So anyway, those are some of the other details on there. So on your honors and recommendations. Now I'm going to switch back over again, you guys. Now, let's go ahead and talk about posting. The kind of information that you can put on LinkedIn that is probably some of the best stuff that you can do. So we're going to talk about your content, the kind of things that you want to put on. And here's some of the suggestions that I would use. For those of you that are blogging, use your blog. Take your blog. I know one of the people that does this consistently is Cindy Bishop, who is on this call. Thank you very much for being here, Cindy. Cindy is really good about making sure that if she puts a blog on her website, she's going to automatically take that thing, copy and paste, and drag it on over and put it onto her LinkedIn profile. So it's a really good place to continue building up the content that is on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. The next part is the newsletter information. So if you've developed a newsletter and you're putting in unique, specific stuff that is uniquely yours, then make sure that you're taking that newsletter, whether you're putting it in as a link or you're taking it, copying and pasting it and putting it in on LinkedIn as well. Okay. So updates from other social sites. If you've got a video that you've created that you've posted on YouTube, put it on LinkedIn. If you've got that same thing and put it on Facebook, take that same thing, drag it over, put it onto YouTube or put it onto LinkedIn. Any content that you put in there, you guys, is going to be relevant. The good part about LinkedIn that I've found is that sometimes people have expectations about what they're going to see on Facebook. You know, I mean, it's kind of like I said, it's like hanging out at a bar. So, you know, so having that kind of stuff hanging out at a bar, people not necessarily going to be that interested in some of those things. Okay. But you can put things like additional articles that you found, articles that are relevant from other places, you know, something that you found on Inman News or Realtor.com or, you know, whatever sites that maybe you're gathering information from, that those sites, you can take that stuff, post it on LinkedIn, and it has value. Okay. Because LinkedIn, again, it's a place for business and people recognize that. They're seeing, okay, this is an article that Dave liked. Hey, this is good information. This is helpful for me. I'm going to use this. And thank you, Dave. And that's kind of the idea behind it, is that it's a place to share those types of things. The other thing about LinkedIn that I think is important is you don't have to be constant with it. But being consistent is really important. Okay. The next thing is make sure that you're changing it up. Make sure that you're keeping this information fresh, okay? And again, not just new listings. If you go on a real estate agent's LinkedIn profile and all they have is new listings that they have, people are going to get bored really quick and they're going to go, that person really doesn't have much to offer, okay? So you want to consider, what are the things that are really going to be helpful with, you know, and again, going back to some of the past seminars that I've talked about, you guys, you want to make sure that it's something that can educate people, that can inspire them, or that can entertain them. Those three things. If you can accomplish all three of them, even better. But those are the three things that you really want to focus in on, and the kind of engagement that you have on LinkedIn. So articles, memes that you found that are fun or attractive or inspirational, okay? Photos that you have that are meaningful and that could mean something to those people that are on your that are part of your group, okay? The audience that you're trying to attract, okay? And again, videos, any videos that you're doing. So the last part of this, you guys, is use a call to action every single time. Sometimes people get kind of annoyed with that on Facebook if you're putting a call to action every time. But on LinkedIn, again, this is a place for business. This is a place for people to do business, and they recognize that that's why you're there as well, okay? So it's okay to put that call to action. Hey, check me out here. Learn more about me here. take them to a landing page where you can capture information or have them subscribe to your newsletter, whatever it is, you guys, but use this as a place to make sure that you're giving them the next step. You know, now that you've seen this really neat article, or you've watched my video, or, you know, you liked my blog and got some information out of it that was beneficial to you, now take this and tell them what you want them to do next, okay? One of the best things they can do is make sure that they're connected with you, all right? So let's move on. By the way, does anybody have any questions yet? If you do, please go ahead and weigh in on the chat box, because I am absolutely paying attention to that. So if you do have any questions, let me know. Good. Here's a couple of things to consider. LinkedIn is, the other thing that is powerful about LinkedIn is that there's groups on LinkedIn. And again, this is a lot different than the groups that are on Facebook. Facebook tend to be geographic somewhat. There's a lot of different types of things that you can associate with on Facebook, and there's some awesome groups. Not taken away from that, you guys. Some amazing groups on Facebook. In fact, that's probably one of the next seminars I'm going to make sure that I do, is talking specifically about groups on Facebook that you might want to consider being engaged with. But with that, here's some of the things that you might want to consider as far as groups to consider that are on LinkedIn, where you can benefit from it. You can learn from these things. And this is probably the key part about some of the groups that are there. That's what I found. The groups that I'm associated with on LinkedIn, it's more of a learning experience than it is necessarily a networking situation. Now, some of these for you guys are networking. So if you look at this one, the Real Estate Professionals Referral Group has 115,700 members, okay? And likely there will be more than that after this presentation today, right? So you guys want to make sure you get on there. What this is this is a place where, and that's literally what it is. It's a professional referral group just for real estate agents. What a powerful place to be, you guys. And what a place to do some networking with people that are like-minded, who are looking for similar things. In fact, one of the things that I would tell you that, there was a presentation, I remember this was a couple years ago, that I did with real estate agents, as I've been doing for years, you guys. And I remember there was an agent who specifically talked about leads that they were getting from other parts of the country because of their LinkedIn profile, because they had things on their LinkedIn profile that people associated with, liked, so they became a connection on LinkedIn as a real estate agent. But the bottom line is that they also knew that this person was in the DC area, that they focused in on military relocation. And literally one of the things that they found is, this is a guy that was former military as well, but some of the leads that he was getting were people that, like from California, where someone was being transferred to the Pentagon or to some other one of the other places out here that's military related, or changing jobs and got a job with one of the military contractors out here. Whatever the situation is, you guys, the bottom line is there are real estate professionals all over the country that have clients of theirs that are moving to the Washington, D.C. area, and they would love to be able to add that value-added service to that client that they've groomed and become friends with, okay? Susan asked a question. Where do you find these groups? You know what? Well, I'll take you there in just a quick sec, Susan, where I can actually show you on LinkedIn where you can look for them, okay? So Real Estate Professionals Referral Group, and that's the exact name of it, you guys, so you might want to jot that down. The exact name of this next one, and it's very similar. It's called the Inman Smart About Real Estate Group, okay? So Inman created this group, like it says here, to promote greater networking within the real estate industry. Our hopes are that you can use this group as a tool to expand and grow your sphere of contacts. So again, we'll go ahead and jump into that here in a second. Another one too is the Digital Marketing Group. Now I've got a couple of those that I'm part of, you guys, but literally this is a really good one. And the reason why is because, as most of you know, one of the roles that you have is not just to help people buy real estate or help them sell their homes, that type of thing, but is to be a marketer. Maybe that's something you didn't necessarily sign up for. And I know that for a lot of you, it's been a learning process, but you know what? You are a marketer. So this is a really good group to be part of, again, just to expand your knowledge, to get some additional ideas, to keep growing your capabilities and your intelligence as a marketing professional, because quite honestly, you are. Whether you like it or not, hey, join the club. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into Susan's question here, you guys, then real quickly. I'm going to stop my share again. And we're going to move this thing all over again. Here we go. New share. And we're going to go to here. All right. You guys should be looking at my LinkedIn profile again, right? All right. So let's get on over here and look at groups. So here's where you find them, everybody. Just right up here. When you do a search, when you click on search, that's one of the things that it has is groups. Now, I did have this recent search for real estate professionals referral group. Let's go ahead and jump on there and take a look at what it is. Okay. So yeah, there you go. Real estate professionals referral group. But again, if you, just real simple, you guys, you go to the search bar and then you just scroll on over and you go to groups. And then now LinkedIn is going to take you to their search for groups. And what I would do is you could type in just real quickly, let's do this. So again, so these are groups, 25,882 groups that are groups that are associated with the term real estate. You know, again, this is this one, Inman Smart About Real Estate. So these are really powerful, you guys. These are some great places to go hang out. Let's see. You know what? Let me add another one on here just because. Let's see what that has there. Social media marketing for real estate investors, international real estate sales and marketing. So anyway, again, what this is this is getting into groups that have real estate marketing. Okay. That's kind of the idea, you guys, is and LinkedIn really does have a good search function, you know, as you can see up here, where again, you can look for things other than, you can have people, you can have jobs, you can have content, companies, schools. So anyway, you can search. There's a number of different ways that you can search in LinkedIn, and it really does make this an effective place to look for things like that. Okay, so let me go ahead and change my share again, guys. Go back to the presentation. All right. So those are groups. The next page then is build out a LinkedIn business page. Okay. This is not your personal page. This is your business page. There is a place to do that, you guys. Now, here's the thing that I would tell you before, because I know some of you, maybe you're going, oh my goodness, I didn't know there was one. Oh, you can't see the presentation. All right. Hold on a sec here, guys. Thank you, Tony. Can you see it now, guys? Are we up? We good? Awesome. Thank you. That's very helpful. I appreciate that, you guys. Okay, so building a LinkedIn business page. Again, this is not your personal page. Your personal page is what a lot of what we've been talking about here. Now, this is not the distinction like you would have on Facebook. Again, two completely different platforms, you guys, as far as why people go on those sites. Okay, that's really the thing to consider. Probably most of the people that are on LinkedIn have a Facebook page. A lot of the people that are on Facebook have a LinkedIn page. I mean, the bottom line is there's a lot of interchangeability. But again, it's why people go to those sites. Okay, so, but again, this is not your personal page. This is a place for you to build out your business branding. Okay, so and that's really what it's for, is to promote your business brand, not just your personal brand. And the other thing that I really like about it is it's a place where you can do a thing called showcase pages, which are really cool, you guys. They're really awesome. They're a great tool. And especially for real estate agents, you can have a showcase page that literally is a place where you can keep all of your new listings. Okay, you want to make sure you're keeping it up to date, so you're taking the ones off once they get sold. But anytime you get a new listing, you can take them and you create this thing called a showcase page. It's another another branding part about this whole thing. And showcase pages, again, could be another place for you to give additional search engine optimization for people that are looking for you to find good quality information, okay, where you can build out things like, this is how I work with buyers, this is how I work with sellers, this is how I work with investors, this is how I work with military relocation, or whatever those niches, those areas of the way that you conduct your business, folks. Showcase pages are a really, really awesome way to be able to do that. Place for artwork, place for content, where you can put things in, use bulleted lists in there. It's a really effective way to do that, okay? Really great marketing tool for listings and niches. Now, here's one other thing that I think is very important to address before I get to the final page, you guys. And this, to me, is one of the most powerful parts about LinkedIn, okay? And that is the fact that if any one of you have done a Google search recently of yourself, and I would suggest you do that from time to time. Most of you that have heard me talk about this in the presentation that I do on your profile have heard me talk about this, you guys. But it's very important. Go into Google and do a search for yourself. And here's the reason why. If you consider the fact that your most powerful leads that you ever get are the ones that are recommendations on referrals for somebody else, okay? Somebody else said, hey, you need to go talk to Susan McKinney. You need to go talk to Tony McCree. You need to go talk to whoever, all you guys on our list, Robert, okay? That when people recommend you, those absolutely are your most powerful leads. When I say that, so the first thing that people are going to do, they're not going to grab their phone and pick it up and start dialing your number. That's not how people act these days. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to pick up their phone and they're going to go to Google and they're going to do a search for your name, right? Now, one of the things that you will find when you do that search, for most of you, especially if you have a profile on LinkedIn, LinkedIn does a really good job of optimizing your name for their site. Okay, so in other words, it's going to be probably, and it normally is for most of us, it's normally within the top 3 to 5 results on a Google search results page. Okay, so someone's typed in my name, they're going to find LinkedIn's going to show up pretty quickly as far as the results. Now that I've said that, you guys, so that's the reason why, if you consider the fact that these people who've just been referred to you are going in and they're going into Google and they're searching for you, and they find that your LinkedIn page is showing up in the top 3 to 5 results, they click on that to say, okay, let's see what this tells me about this person. Because it's probably one of the best places, if you've done it right, for someone to learn more about who you are as a professional real estate agent, okay? Taking them to your personal Facebook page is not going to give them that kind of information the same way that you deliver it on LinkedIn, because that's the expectation, okay? So they go to your LinkedIn page, and if it's not banging, if it's not, up to par, if it's not up to date, if it's not telling your story the way you want it to, make sure you take some time to do that, you guys. And again, that to me is the most powerful part about why LinkedIn is important for real estate agents. Add to that the fact that it's a great place for lead generation, and all these other things we talked about is important to recognize. So now that I've said that, the other thing that is good about LinkedIn, this summary that we talked about early on, where I had what I do, how I do it, who I do it for, how that makes a difference, how I'm unique the way that I do it. All of that information, that profile that I built in there, the one thing that I would tell you, and I've worked with several of you on this, you guys, is that with your profile, that's a really good place to start, is to build out a LinkedIn profile that really tells your story well, okay? Then you take that same profile and you adjust it based on the size restrictions, if you will, for the other sites that you need to have a profile. Realtor.com, on Zillow, on Homes.com, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on all of those different places, you guys. What you've done then is you've built out that profile, and now you have kind of a template that you can use all the other places where you can put it, okay? So with that, that is it, folks. So here's the thing. Here's my final thought on this. Consider your ideal client, what they do, where they work, who influences them. Then from this profile, start connecting with those lookalikes on LinkedIn. Let's talk about that just real quickly, you guys. I want to make sure you're getting an idea what I'm talking about here. That is really focusing in on who do you want to connect with on LinkedIn. This gives you a really good, clear definition, you guys. You have that best definition. Who's your ideal client? All right. What is it that they do? Where do they work? You know, because that's all the kind of stuff that it's going to show up on their LinkedIn profile. Who influences them? Who were they connected with? Like when you go on a LinkedIn profile and you're connected with somebody, folks, you can click on their connections and it gives a list. Okay. You can look and you can see all the other people that they're connected with. All right. So, and if that makes sense that, oh, okay, well, yeah, here's somebody else that works with them at the Department of Defense or wherever it is that they work. And then now all of a sudden you have other connections that you can make an association with because you have this connection. Okay. That's really what this is, you guys. So that's how you find a way to develop out your connections on LinkedIn. My suggestion is when you go in, I would take time to make sure you're there on this in this space at least on a weekly basis, you guys, if not more frequently. And one of the things that I would make sure that you're doing is building out your connections using this as kind of a template for how you do that. Okay. Because again, LinkedIn is really, it's really good about the way that it shows who someone else is connected to. So you can automatically say, hey, you want to be connected on LinkedIn. Okay. And it gives you an opportunity to give them a little bit of information about who you are, what you're about, and answer any questions that they might have. So, good. Was this helpful? Did you guys get some new ideas? Hopefully you've been inspired a little bit more about how you can utilize this really powerful marketing tool, you guys. LinkedIn really is one of the best. Great. Thank you, Denise. Appreciate it. Awesome. Good. Thanks, you guys. Good. No, I really do. I love this space, and it's something that we want to take advantage of. So thank you for attending today. Cindy, before we jump off of here, you provided great information. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you, Jane. Appreciate you guys being here. But before we do jump off, is Cindy, if you want to weigh in real quickly, do you want to say anything? Do you want to add anything to our discussion real quickly?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I was very quiet. Yeah. So, well, not really. We've filled our initial coaching program. So, if anybody likes what Dave is doing here, which is amazing, he's our social media and our video development coach. He's super good at what he does. We have Gary Garrison and then myself. So a lot of the things that we're doing go into our Agent Education Center, which is hundreds of hours of training for our coaching members. So if any of you are interested in coaching, I think that we will be releasing another group of 10 effectively December 1st. So make sure you email me, let me know if you're interested in that. For those that are in coaching on this call, of course, the video will be on the Agent Education Center under coaching calls. Anybody that is not in our coaching program and on this call, make sure you email me at cindybishopcoaching@gmail.com so I can send you the link. That's pretty much it. Dave, you have anything to say?
Good. No. This was great, you guys. I appreciate you being here. Again, hopefully you got a lot of information. This thing will get posted on the Agent Education Center. And so that's it. Have an awesome week. So again, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Dave.
You bet.